Hello, everyone. This is CL Cannon of Fiction Atlas Author Services, bringing you another Feel Good Friday author interview. Every week, I strive to bring you inspiring tales about the author journey. Today, I'm here with dark fantasy author Andy Peloquin. Well, first of all, thanks for agreeing to do this with me.
Oh, I always have so much fun with these, so I'm glad to be here.
Great. I guess, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your books?
Yeah, I am a dark fantasy author. I get to write the darker side of human nature, and instead of writing about monsters, I look at the monsters inside our heads, about how humans can really be the most terrifying people of all. I mean, look at history, the things that we've done to each other, all the wars, all the horrors that have been perpetrated. So instead of writing about fictional monsters, I can look at psychology, neurology, disorders, things like that, and put them into fascinating stories. And so fantasy is my genre of choice because I've always enjoyed the medieval, the epic, the fantastical, the magical. Mm-hmm. So I've combined that into just one dark story.
I like that you do that. I've been reading Blade of the Destroyer and I'm loving it, so.
That's awesome.
What sparked your love of writing, and how old were you when you first wrote your first story?
Well, I think like most authors, I started as a youngster. I had a teacher in elementary school who was incredibly passionate about writing and the sciences. So he would make us write, and he would have these elaborate science fairs. And so I got into that. And my family is very artistic. They're painters and artists and graphic designers and musicians. So I have zero art skill. I mean, I could do a mean stick figure, but that's about it. So when I discovered that I could write, it was just like the part of myself that I had been missing. And I didn't really start writing seriously until my teen years. Mm-hmm. And I would write short stories and pieces of prose and just sort of doodles. I started a novel, got about 6 chapters into it, realized it was utter rubbish, and deleted it completely and never thought about it again. And then I picked up writing again in my early 20s, around 24, 25, started writing. Mm-hmm. And I've been writing for about 3-4 years now.
That's awesome. What does your outlining process look like? Do you outline, and do you have like a set way that you do it every time, or?
No, I do some outlining because I do like having the creativity to sort of go with it where I want, but I do need some sort of structure to follow just to avoid writer's block. So I'll have just a massive Word file filled with notes that when I sit down to write, I'll sort of organize into some sort of cohesion, but it's not a formal outline.
Right. That's kind of what I do. I just kind of throw a lot of stuff together and look at it and go, try to get inspiration from that, because I've tried to outline, I've tried all the little tricks, and I can't do like you said, a formal outline. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, sometimes some scenes or some parts I will have outlined. As I write the story, I will outline it more. I'll say, okay, this chapter introduces this chapter has this. Mm-hmm. And I'll have an idea of where it's going, at least 5 or 6 chapters ahead, so that I never have to deal with writer's block or confusion or letting the story meander. Everything is very tight. It's very on point.
Right. Okay, well, do you have a particular time of day that you're more likely to write, and do you have a special place that you do that?
I actually do find I'm most productive between 3 and 6 p.m. It's a very strange thing. I've only been writing in the afternoons for about a year. Mm-hmm. But I get the most done between 3 and 6 p.m. I do get some work done Saturday mornings, some Friday mornings I can fit some work in, but for the most part, the afternoons is when I just hammer out those words. A few chapters in the last book in early March, late February, I was writing 2,000 words in an hour, just getting these chapters out, like crazy.
That's
and
great.
It was at that time.
That's great. Usually it's either one or the other. Most people are like, oh, I do the best in the mornings, or I do the best in the evenings. That's the first time I've heard of someone kind of like a midday sort of writer. So you're unique that way.
Thank you. I strive to be unique in everything.
Yes, you do. Are there any pop culture icons or references or, anything from your childhood or, things that you've truly loved that you have helped inspire you in any of your work?
Actually, yes, in Blade of the Destroyer, I don't know if you've read the part where he goes to the fancier part of town, Upper Varamus, and he's in the gardens and he smells the snow blossom trees.
Mm-hmm.
And that is based on my memory in Japan, born in Japan. The cherry blossom trees. It's this beautiful, sweet smell, and it's like the ground is covered with this carpet of pink and white petals, and it's so beautiful. So I infused that into that scene, and the hunters' love of those trees.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that. I didn't know you grew up there.
Yeah, till I was 14.
Wow. What advice would you give all these newbies out here who are struggling to, get into writing, struggling to get their stuff out there and, have the confidence to write?
Just write. It's really that simple. I know that when I first started writing, I was encouraged because someone who is a published comic book. She's a comic book publisher and author, and she read something that I wrote, and she said, wow, this is really good. I want to publish it. So that sort of gave me the confidence to sit down and write. But then the first book that I wrote, my self-published novel, In the Days, it wasn't an instant success. It made a few sales, it got some good reviews and some bad reviews, and it was just another book out there. And I realized, okay, this is something that I'm doing because I love writing, but it's going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to have to sit down and get used to writing with very little acclaim or very little positive response. And with that mindset, I sort of dug in and started working and started writing. And over time, I've expanded my list of followers, my fan base, find people who love the books, who talk about them, who email me saying, I hate you for killing this character, things like that. And it's just time, and it's just, working at your craft of both writing and marketing and trying to make up for the disadvantages of having a day job, just by working as hard as you can on it when you have the time.
Right, that's great. What strategies do you use in your marketing? Do you have like a certain thing that you think, helps you out, puts you ahead of other authors who are, who are out there? I don't know how to exactly put this.
I understand, yeah. Well, my forte is face-to-face interactions. I have so much fun at book conventions and signings and things like that because I have a cup of coffee and then I just come up with crazy ideas like limited edition high fives that I came up with at one comic convention, or just having fun with people, talking about them, finding out what they're interested in, and relating with them, being a genuine person who cares about them beyond, buy my book. And I found that's a great way to get people. But then the same goes for online interactions. I have a lot of fun at author takeover events on Facebook, just emailing people. I did an Ask Me Anything event on Reddit with my last book launch, and just talking with people, being genuinely interested in what they have to say, offering bits of advice and help. I've had people email me saying, hey, what do I do about this? And I have interactions with them that have lasted for months or years, because just giving away the little bits of information that I've learned over the course of studying writing and marketing, people respond to that, and they connect with you on that personal level, and that is more effective than any clever marketing strategy.
I think that is very, very true, because I've seen, a lot, like you said, a lot of people are out there, buy my book, or they do thousands and thousands of giveaways, and they don't really get anywhere. And if you, genuinely just sit down with someone, find out, what their problems are, or, what you could help them with, because everybody has some sort of knowledge. You can help somebody in some way, somehow, no matter, who you are. You have something that you can offer to someone else. And I think that that's great. It's a great way to market.
Yeah, it's really not about the marketing as much as just interacting with people. I mean, I'm not, one of those people who sell hundreds of thousands of books. So for them, it's a little bit different. You can't interact with hundreds of thousands of people, but just talking with one or two people a day, expanding my base of friends, fellow authors, readers, just anyone I can talk to. I'm really happy to do it because it's great to get involved in other people's lives. Mm-hmm. And it helps me to get out of my little bubble, and I learn more about them and their interests, and that sparks a novel idea, or, it's just a great way to step out.
I think that's also really true. That's another thing I tend to do is I just tend to add, my husband's like, why do you just add people? I'm like, because I want to learn more about other people, and I like to learn. I'm a people person on the internet, not really so
Yeah.
much outside of the internet, but I like to talk to people and, learn about what's going on in their lives and all that stuff. But outside, I'm pretty much a hermit, but
Yeah. It
But
is difficult to force yourself sometimes to get out from behind your little computer screen or the comfort zone of your table. But I've found that just standing up and looking people in the eye and smiling and talking to them just totally does it.
yeah, I will try that if I ever get to a writers convention. But, right now I actually have to get my book done before I get to all of that stuff. But what do you hope that your future looks like? Do you have any set goals or aspirations for, the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm one of those guys who is always looking at what comes next. I just finished writing the first draft of the final book in my Thief trilogy. So literally at the hour that I was done writing it, I was like, okay, so what am I going to work on next? And I've got 2 projects in the that are fleshing out as we speak, so that when I finish writing this Thief trilogy and then the 6 books of the Half Demon Assassin, I will have the next thing. And it's just all about finding new ways to expand the email list and the Facebook platform and Twitter and better website content and things like that. Just always trying to be better at what I can do, because you can never really, there's no secret, or it's an impossible secret to figure out that secret to success. So you just put in the work, and between all of that and a bit of luck, you have a chance of succeeding.
Right. It's kind of just a toss in the hat. I mean, you obviously have to work really hard at it, to get successful, but sometimes it's just, you just get lucky, but it is also a lot of hard work.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I think that's all the questions I had, actually. Yeah, that's all the ones that I had. But I have really enjoyed talking to you, and I am actually looking forward to the thing you just announced about the crossover. That sounds really great.
Thank you. That's going to be my first foray into a proper murder mystery novel. For Queen of Thieves, the 3rd book, I reveal a ton of plot twists. Like, there's a ton of stuff. Everything that happens in book 2 leads up to the events in book 3. So I feel like, okay, I've kind of got a handle on how to do plot twists in these reveals and how to set things up. Obviously, once the beta readers get back to me, we'll see how great a job I actually did at it. But, following the 3-act structure and the different, the formulas for a good murder mystery and things like that, this is going to be my something very new for me. So I'm really nervous and excited about it.
I look forward to reading it. I've already got all of your books, so I'm just trying to find the time to read them all. I've been actually listening to the audiobook a lot in the car and stuff, because that's about the only time I have for reading.
Yeah.
But I am loving it.
That's good. I love audiobooks. That first moment when I heard my audiobook complete, I was so happy, because I love listening to audiobooks. My favorite book is actually the audio version of an amazing book, The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. It's the audio version that I like more than the printed version, because the narrator just does such an amazing job. So I listen to audiobooks while I run, while I'm at the gym, while I'm driving, and it helps me to come up with, just weird, crazy ideas.
That's great. I've just now got into audiobooks, because I never could really focus. I didn't think on them, and now that I don't, that was before I started editing and doing all the other stuff. Before my life got so crazy, I was always just, read the printed word. And now I'm kind of like, yeah, this is really convenient. I like this. And I got into voice acting, so that helps a lot too. But
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've done that for, I want to say like 5 years. It's
Wow.
nothing big, mostly just like internet, like I've done some app commercials and stuff like that. It's nothing like I'm on TV or anything, but it's still fun.
No Disney works yet?
Not yet, but, I'm working on it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, I guess I'll let you get off here so you can do your reading in a few minutes and to check on my children and make sure they're still alive. But it was great to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope to be back in a few months when we've got something more to talk about.
Okay, that sounds great.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's all the time we have today. I'm going to leave links to all of Andy's social media and websites in the description. Please go check them out. Now, if you or someone you know would like to request a Feel Good Friday interview, please send an email to info@fiction-atlas.com with a subject line Feel Good Friday. Thanks for listening. I'll be back next Friday with more inspiring author stories.